I'm S.L.J. This is Jacob Alexander, and we are The Hungry Picnic. Today's video is going to be about Luster of Midday, our most recent release, and our second album. We're looking forward to talking a bit about it to you. Hope you enjoy.
Okay, so what is Luster of Midday about?
Now, Luster of Midday is about two characters, D.B. Cooper and Robin Hood. And it's not quite about the myth of the two, because we don't really know what happens to D.B. Cooper, neither do we know what happens to Robin Hood. Right? One steals from the rich, gives to the poor. The other basically stole for himself, but we don't know his underlying motives. So we are assuming that both of these characters in this song share similar traits, such as, I want to get out of civilization, I'm going to jump into the forest and live there the rest of my life, but what good is money? Then there's Robin Hood, in a sense, right? Lives in the forest. I'm pretty sure he stole from people in the forest and outside of the forest, but that's where he stays, and he gives to people, gives back to people in the forest. So one's sort of possibly individually minded, D.B. Cooper. One's more maybe possibly community minded, Robin Hood.
Tree line never breaking before me.
I know the lyrics are very Hungry Picnic-esque and in their own right unique, but I think we do get across the point that some of these themes of leaving civilization to be by yourself, but also the other end of the binary, what do you do with what you have if it's no good once you leave?
Like the irony
of
having the money, but then you're in a forest.
Because DB in the song struggles to live, basically, once he obtains the money and lands safely in the forest.
In our story, he dies. Yeah.
He does die eventually, yes, but at the beginning, at least in the first few lines of the song,
he's still alive there.
If not, it's this sort of adventure, right? The tree line, he's
kind
beelining
of
it for the river, and he sees this shiny, lustrous object, a pendant, near a river.
In the river.
And what ends up happening to him?
He gets swept up by the river.
He gets swept up because he wanted this shiny thing,
Yeah.
but he already had money. So you see where we're kind of going with this, right? And then there's Robin Hood, who stole for his people, his community. We have this sort of assumption and take that Little John and Friar Tuck aren't sort of what they're mythologically put out to be. His friends, his sort of, close confidant, evil henchman type people.
So it's like he stole the money for helping people he knows who are sick and shit. So.
Yeah. So it's this confluence of ideas that comes into play in this song. We think it really, for as unique as the idea is, I think the song and the structure and the format complement that, nonetheless.
Balance from within again, this is the health vision.
So the song formatting, obviously, what I just alluded to before the end of the first question, is something that makes Luster stand out. Any of the songs that we've made, every song that we've made is very unique in and of itself, but you want to tell us a bit about the formatting, Jake?
Yeah, so you actually came up with the different structures, which I didn't actually change very much, a little bit, but usually when you come to me with something, there's a lot of change I make, but in this one, not really. So this song, it's played out in like 5 different parts, and then they reset one time. So part 1 is a verse, but part 2 is a verse. Part 3 is also a verse, but they're very different. And then part 4 is kind of acts as a chorus, and then the 5th part is almost an outro, or it sets up the second, going back to part 1 again. So normally a song is, a verse, a chorus, a verse, a chorus, some type of third part, and then a double chorus to end. Whereas this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so it's very different that way, the way it's formatted.
It hits differently that way, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So it breathes different than a regular song.
Absolutely.
That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. It definitely has different ebbs and flows within the song.
So
That sort of bring together everything, I think.
Yeah.
Including
if
these
you
sort
really
of more
wanted to-
turbulent parts to the more mysterious parts, to the more unsure parts or forecasting parts, right? Like there definitely is some forecasting that's going on. I'd definitely say in the beginning of the
Yeah.
song, it sets up.
Yeah, and the
The
music
explanation
tries
for
to
the second
complement the lyrics as much as possible. So, in
Absolutely.
the parts where he's feeling like a winner, the song has more of an upbeat thing. But that last bit, the chorus piece,
Stay in seat of freezing water.
like that's got more of a somber tone because we know he's dying there.
Mhm.
And that's actually the forest speaking.
That's
Speaking of their own, like leave us alone kind of thing, and to
In
a
a
slight
collective
extent, like
sound of
what the
voice.
song is about to me in a lot of ways is, overstepping, the humans overstepping in nature, but also like a person's ability to overstep greed and how it can downfall a person
Mhm.
as well. Because he didn't have to grab the pendant; he already robbed the bank, and that's what got him
right. Absolutely.
in the story.
In the
allegedly.
story, yeah, yeah, absolutely. We are at this point known to flirt with historical fiction.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and sort of make it our own.
But we'll make it clear, like, we're not saying this happened. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's
Our
just
own
a
take on
fucking-
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a take.
It's just our own take on it.
I know
I talked about it a little bit, but I'm gonna let you describe the energy and the sound
Mm-hmm.
of the song.
So the energy is definitely very high tempo, very upbeat. Most of the song, but as some of the words I used before, turbulent, mysterious, sort of maybe forecasting something ominous that's going to happen. I think the song perfectly, almost linearly, puts that into play through each of the sequences of the song. I know that the sound is excellent with the guitar parts. I know it matches the sort of theme or tone being set by the lyrics and the story in certain parts, and definitely the drums in the part right before the sort of final message of the song. The drums really send everything home
Yeah.
and really give that aspect. Sorry, we have trees around us, so that's why I'm looking up in the sky of the trees sort of beckoning and calling to maybe a better sort of appreciative human that could come and be with them, but this guy's not. D.B. Cooper's not. That's why
Right,
a lot
yeah, he's an
throughout the
outsider.
song we sort of harken back to Robin Hood, who seems to be of the forest, if I may say that.
Yeah,
a bit more
a
than
product
D.B.
of
Cooper.
it kind of
yeah,
thing.
the modern man versus we could say he's a bandit or whatever, but
Yeah. But
The
what we do know
woodsman-
is Robin Hood wasn't killed by the forest.
he was not killed
I
by
don't
the
think
forest.
that's part of the.
As a matter of fact, I believe Robin Hood left the forest for a time being before he was truly Robin Hood, at least one of these stories goes.
No.
I went to the city, robbed some people, and might have taken their lives. I think he might have met Friar Tuck and or Little John in the city, and then came back to the forest, and they all sort of had these grand ideas of, this is the best way to give back. This is, who we are, what we're meant to do, sort of thing, within their community of trees and people who live permanently in the forest. So they had their sort of own personal reasons for doing this, as did DB.
So
But
that gives the song kind of a hopeful energy.
a hopeful energy,
Yeah.
yes. Thank you for using that word, absolutely. And so the energy and the sound of the song, we believe anyways, and that's why we intentionally made it like it was, follows these sort of trials and tribulations of DB sort of simultaneously with Robin Hood.
Yeah.
it's
It's kind of two stories.
It's
at
like
once.
it's like a hearkening and a modern sort of story sort of interlaid throughout the narrative itself.
It's like trying to tell both stories with its own in one way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then right at the sort of very end, part 5 there,
Yeah.
until the song repeats itself, it encapsulates perfectly, I think, that there is a shred of hope for these characters, within their environments. But that, again, we always seem to go back to these themes of decisions and choices and their consequences and the causes and effects of them. And we really think that final line, with the minimal sound that there really is,
Mhm. It's kind of a whisper almost.
Yeah.
Compared to the rest of the song.
absolutely, for me and even the instruments
Yeah.
themselves, it's like the subtle message, the subliminal message.
Mhm. Yeah, because even I got that harmonica in there, but I pull back its volume quite a bit.
and you put it in the right sort of
Yeah.
sound spaces. So yeah, it's a wonderful song for that reason, and obviously a very unique song for those reasons as well.
All I can hope for is a tread so fine and safe.
So Jake's got his guitar here. Now I'd like to ask a question. The key of the song, what is it in?
Usually it's more clear to me, even after we've written it. But it feels like we start with the G, kind of transition over to an A. So it feels like it sits in A, but it's more in G. C, D, and then after that with the that's kind of rooted in G as well. That feels more like a D to me. I mean, it plays like it's rooted in D.
Got those echoes.
And then that's in G. So in general, the song is in G, but there's some D and kind of A. I mean, there's a lot of transitional chords as well, but where it sits in, I would call it G, but there's some A and D as well.
All complementary, that's for sure, of each other.
Yeah, and then like they all work in the scale together, so it's good that way. And then for the formatting, the intro is in a 7/8.
Yes. Now the time signature is very interesting in the song. When I
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So it switches to a 3, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, it does more, and then it comes down with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Did that a little wrong, but
yeah.
I'd count that as a 3. So in general, the song is in a 7 for part 1, and then it goes into a 3,
brief 3,
and then it goes into a 6 for part 2. No, part 3.
Part 3.
And then it goes into kind of a 3, although we
Could be a 6.
sometimes if it's 6 I'll still count 3 just for me, or vice versa depending. And then so then a 3, how it really feels, especially with the drums, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then the last part is I'd count it as a 6 personally.
Yeah. I was just counting in a 3, but yeah, you
So,
definitely can.
as always, we do try to mix up our time signatures, but not be too prog about it, usually.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We try and keep it as compact within the song as possible. Well, putting as much in, packing as much in as possible.